Dan Sodergren is a technology expert. Dan, just tell us exactly what Temu were asking for here.
Well, it's a strange one, though, isn't it? There's an old adage that if you're not buying a product online, you are the product online. Well, this one's actually even worse than that, and I'm certainly not biting the hands that feed me. I run something called the AI marketing course. Obviously, other courses are available, but I teach people how to use AI in marketing, and this is actually what Temu are guessing. They're kind of guessing the future of marketing. They've obviously now backtracked on this huge amount of data they were going to be taking from you. But you've got to remember, of course, billion-dollar companies have lawyers, so they kind of knew what they were doing. The implications, though, of the terms and conditions is that they could start to utilize a lot of your data, potentially even making you like almost a mini social media influencer without you kind of knowing about it. This was the bigger implication. It wasn't just the fact they were going to be using the data to kind of retarget you with hyper-personalized advertising. It was actually the potential of them to use your image and likeness for the rest of time anywhere in the world to create potentially to create things like deep fakes, etc. And so obviously people on social media have looked at this. Everyone got very panicked, and Temu have now, of course, backtracked on it. But it's a very, very scary implication that you've always got to read the terms and conditions.
I was going to say, because a lot of people will not do that, will they? They'll see, 50 quid. Just give us a few details, and there's money in your account, and or a credit or whatever, and you just click accept.
Well, and again, this is exactly the danger. This is why we need to have laws that are a lot more strict on this kind of thing. And I know we've had the ICO was involved and these other people, but we've got to really think about this. We've got to have a kind of more than just buyer beware. We've got to have a kind of digital green cross code now where we all start looking at this, because AI, artificial intelligence, now makes this digital marketing now a possibility. Temu could have used and could have started cloning your image and having you say certain things around the world without you knowing it, with you giving them 50 quid. And I think this is the danger, of course. I mean, AI marketing is great because it's the democratization of it, and I get that, but it's a double-edged sword. It's now very cheap and very easy to clone people's voices and images. In fact, just with the last 15 seconds of me talking, you can now, since yesterday, you can now clone my voice with only 15 seconds, or anyone's voice, with 15 seconds of footage, which has just been done by OpenAI. So, this new world we're entering into, we've got to have a lot more protection, because large companies might start doing this and seeing this to be okay, but just putting it in their terms and conditions, and we all sign up to it without knowing.
And it's interesting to see how this was, not exposed, because it was there for people to see if they looked at it hard enough, but actually through social media, somebody went, hang on a second, this is what they're asking for. You don't want to be doing this.
Yeah, I was quite proud to be one of those people too, because when you actually looked at that terms and conditions, it was terrifying, because the implications of it are much bigger. Now, of course, the company strenuously denies this was their plan, but of course, why would you put it in your terms and conditions if it potentially wasn't your plan? It just seems very, very odd terms and conditions. Originally, they said, oh, everyone does it like this. No, they don't. They then backtracked and they've now changed everything. But this is the thing, isn't it? We've got to start looking at these things, because if you put in your terms and conditions that you can use my voice and my image and all these other things in marketing, I mean, the very best digital marketing that a company can create is basically millions of adverts of real people saying real things, or now maybe even fake things, but to their friends and family, because friends and families believe each other. Now, that's the world we're going to be living in very soon. It's almost this post-truth world. But if the company says, oh, just give us your images, but it gives you your rights to your images for 50 quid and we say yes, technically, isn't that our fault? Almost more than the company's, because they've paid you the money for your image.
Well, is there an element of this? I mean, clearly, we all say we sign up to things or we agree to things that we don't necessarily know the implications of. I mean, there was quite a lot of focus on loyalty cards, supermarket loyalty cards at one point as well, and that effectively is giving out information which they can pass on to other people who might be interested.
Well, absolutely.
Where do you draw the line, really?
Well, precisely. And I think we kind of, it's a little bit deeper than that. I think there is a loyalty card I have not particular issue with, because it's about buying habits, etc. But when it's someone using my picture and then making me potentially say stuff about something which isn't true, that's when we're into the world of deep fakes. And I think this is where the Temu thing was slightly different, because there was an implication they could do that with the data. And we've also, as people, we've got to get cleverer with our data. We've got to realise that large companies make money from data. That's how they do it. Data is the new oil. Data is almost like gold. It's that important nowadays. And we've all got to start thinking, actually, maybe we shouldn't have been giving it away for free for so long. But that's, of course, a part of a social change and an education piece for everybody. And it's not just picking on Temu, of course. Facebook does this, Google, all big companies make money from our data. It's just Temu were lucky. It looked like they were pushing the boundaries of this into a place which, to be fair, I think we could all say is pretty unacceptable.
Well, Temu have said that they've tweaked the terms and conditions. They say the previous terms and conditions were overly broad and inadvertently included promotional uses that Temu does not engage in. Customer trust and satisfaction is at the heart of Temu, and we do not and will not sell customer data. So does that set your mind at rest?
I've got to be honest with you, not really. I mean, I think sometimes when a company shows you what they're like, believe them the first time. It's always nice to say something like an apology afterwards, as you should do. But actually, I think it certainly made me look at Temu in a very, very different light. And it wasn't a particularly positive one before then, but it's a fascinating place where we've got to all start looking at terms and conditions a lot more. Basically, if it looks like it's too good to be true and it looks like it's free money, just be a bit aware, because it's most probably you're doing something that might be a bit dangerous for you later on in the time.
Dan, really interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.